Hi movies lovers, today I'm going to recap one of the action, drama, fantasy movie named Dracula Untold with IDM rating of 6.2. Opening scene sets tone in the early 15th century. The Turkish king invaded Transylvania to gather an army of 1,000 boys. When his soldiers attacked the kingdom, the young Prince Vlad Tepes, also known as Vlad the Impaler, son of the dragon, rushed forward and massacred the Turks one by one. Soon, he would be known to the world as Dracula. Vlad and his comrades came across a Turkish scout's helmet near a river. He feared that the Turks would move towards Transylvania again. Captain Patur noticed the helmet had claw marks. With two other men, Vlad climbed Broken Tooth Mountain to find a cave where many pieces of armor with cuts were thrown around, surrounded by the bones of other men. From the shadows, a creature stalks the men and then attacks them before attempting to capture Vlad. Vlad attacks the creature with his sword, restraining it. The creature growled at Vlad, revealing lifeless yellow eyes before retreating into the darkness. Vlad consulted a friend, Brother Lucian, about the nature of this beast. Lucian tells Vlad that the creature is a vampire. It is said that he was a man who made a deal with a creature similar to himself, turning it into a monster that attracted men and ate them, waiting for someone to free it. Vlad returns home to Castle Dracula with his wife Myrina and son Injurus. They were both happy to see him again and happy that he continued to ensure the safety of their family and the kingdom. During a banquet, the Turkish envoy Hamza Bey arrived with a message from Sultan Mehmed II. Vlad gave Hamza and his men many silver coins and sent them away. Before leaving, Hamza told Vlad and everyone that Mehmed had asked for 1,000 boys for his own army. Everyone was outraged and Myrina feared that her son would be among the chosen ones. The other Turks taunted the Transylvanians with this. Vlad went to the Turkish camp to negotiate with Mehmed. Vlad offered to surrender, believing himself worth more than 1,000 boys, but Mehmed refused and ordered the boys to come to him, along with Vlad's own son. Vlad and his family were escorted to meet Hamza and the other Turks to hand over Injurus. Vlad and the boy walked toward Hamza, seemingly ready to surrender, but Vlad whispered to Injurus, "Run to your mother." Injurus ran away and Vlad grabbed his sword, slashed Hamza's arm and then slashed his face. Easily and quickly, Vlad killed the remaining Turks. Fearing brutal revenge from Mehmed, Vlad returned to Broken Tooth to search for the creature. This master vampire introduced himself to Vlad, sensing that he came with hope and asked him why he was doing this. Vlad says he is desperate and wants to become a monster to fight against his enemies. The master vampire warns Vlad that he can grant him this power, but he must resist the urge to suck blood for 3 days, after which he will regain his mortality. He sank his teeth into his wrist, pouring blood into the shell for Vlad to drink. Vlad lowered it and asked what now. The vampire master told him, "Now you die." Vlad collapsed and then woke up lying on a riverside rock. He felt his skin begin to burn. Then he pressed on a rock and crushed it. He now has sharper senses and can sense the movements of all the creatures in the forest. Vlad also discovered that he could fly away in the form of a flock of bats. Indeed, the Turks began to launch attacks on Transylvania. Vlad returned to the castle and put on his black cloak. The soldiers began to advance and Vlad confronted them one by one. Now moving faster and stronger than before, he can devastate entire armies, leaving them all dead on earth. Vlad ordered his people to leave the kingdom and go to a monastery where they could find refuge. Then, he began to feel intense bloodlust. He moved out of sight of his men to avoid turning his back on them. He and Myrina went into the tent and they started kissing. Vlad took off his shirt. Myrina felt his back and noticed that Vlad's battle scars were gone. The thirst only increased when Vlad felt Myrina's jugular vein, forcing him to withdraw from intimacy. He left her again. That evening, while walking in the woods, a man with a knife approached Vlad. The man knew what kind of creature Vlad had become, so he cut his hand and poured the blood into a cup for Vlad to drink. Vlad threw the cup from his hand. The man withdrew, designating Vlad as his master. Vlad saw the blood on the ground and knelt down as if about to drink it, but he restrained himself. Mehmed and his men moved closer to the Transylvanians. They crossed the battlefield and found Mehmed's captain lying in front of the bodies of Turkish spearmen. Myrina is suspicious about what happened to Vlad. He opened the tent to let the sunlight in and showed her his burning skin. He assures her that he made this deal to protect her and their son. She accepts this. The Transylvanians crossed the forest again but were ambushed by another group of Turks. Vlad turned into a bat and rushed to attack the Turks. Petru protects Myrina and Indras. Two Turks cornered them on the edge of a cliff. Petru stood in front of Myrina and Indras to protect them, but he was hit in the stomach. Vlad arrives just in time to push this Turk to the limit. He went to his comrade's side as he died. People also began to speak up and say what they feared Vlad had become. Several men came to confront him, followed by Lucian, wielding swords and offering to kill Vlad and spare him his final fate. Vlad refused and Lucian opened the tent to let in the sunlight. Vlad's skin begins to burn again, causing him to face the Transylvanians, who flee in fear. The men began setting fire to the tent with Vlad still inside, even as Myrina yelled at them to realize he was trying to help them. Moments later, Vlad emerged from the flames with scarred skin. He shouted to the people that he did what he did to protect them, and that is why they beat the Turks. Even large numbers of Turks began to march towards the Transylvanians. With his men standing behind him, Vlad summoned a flock of giant bats and commanded them to fly around and attack the Turks. With a wave of his hand, he dealt a powerful blow to the soldiers. He clenched his fists and dove onto the concrete, dealing another blow to the Turks. Vlad himself flies in to finish off Mehmed, while some soldiers infiltrate his sanctuary. Vlad threw a man off his horse thinking it was Mehmed, but it wasn't. The soldiers find Myrina and Indras. A man punches Myrina in the stomach and pushes her into the ocean, leaving her hanging while they kidnap Indras. Hearing Myrina's call, Vlad returned to save her. The soldier who captured Indras fled, but Vlad killed the other man. However, it was too late to save Myrina as she fell into the ocean. Vlad jumped after her but couldn't save her. She touched the ground before Indras's eyes. Vlad tries to revive her, but knowing that his time is up, Myrina allows Vlad to drink her blood so he has a chance to save their son. Vlad reluctantly bit Myrina's neck and drank, ensuring that her powers were now permanent. Vlad then finds the remaining Transylvanians and allows them to drink his blood. He then took out a set of armor that he hoped would never appear again, one with a dragon engraved on it. At the Turkish military camp, Vlad and the Transylvanians now have vampires attacking their forces, sucking their blood and slaughtering them. Vlad tries to find his way into Mehmed's tent, where silver coins are scattered everywhere to take advantage of Vlad's weakness. Vlad drew his sword and fought the man Mehmed. Mehmed proved difficult to defeat as he continuously threw silver coins in Vlad's face. He dominated him and threw him to the ground violently. Mehmed grabs a stake and prepares to stab Vlad in the heart, saying that this is not a happy ending for Vlad the Impaler. They struggle when the stake is right above Vlad's heart, but Vlad turns into a bat and takes Mehmed's stake, turns it on, and stabs him. He says that he is no longer Vlad the Impaler but Dracula, son of the devil. He bit Mehmed's neck and sucked his blood. Injurus ran to her father. Although the Turks were now defeated, the Transylvanians plotted to quench their thirst by taking Injurus. A man, Kazan, tries to make the first move against the boy. Dracula takes a wooden stake and stabs Kazan, causing him to rot and decompose into a skeleton. The other Transylvanians advance towards Dracula and Injurus, until Lucian intervenes and raises the cross to them. Dracula lets Lucian take Injurus to safety and tells the boy he loves him. Dracula split the clouds and let the sun shine on him and the Transylvanians, burning them until they were all dead, including him. Injurus is crowned the new Prince of Transylvania. Elsewhere, the woodsman revives Dracula by feeding him his own blood. Injurus feels her father may still be somewhere. We jump to present day. Dracula can walk among people. He sees a woman in town who looks exactly like Myrina. Dracula introduces himself as Vlad and the woman says her name is Mina. The two walk together, unaware that the master vampire, now returned to human form, is watching from afar. He stood up and followed them, whispering, "Let the game begin."